Hi everybody, my name's Jen. I'm here with OrchestraTutor.com today to talk to you about one of the most important issues that all string players face, and that's tuning. Now, there's two kinds of tuning. We can be talking about tuning as in adjusting our opening strings at the beginning of practicing or rehearsal to make sure that our tuned strings sound like they're supposed to. But we can also talk about tuning even when we're putting fingers down, right? Just making sure that each finger is exactly in place, both to our ear, or if you use tapes or stickers, sometimes you have a visual reference. All right, so let's talk about tuning our open strings first. Of course, we have at the very bottom of the instrument our fine tuners, and we have at the top our pegs. I know my cello looks a little bit funny to someone who plays a violin, and you might even notice it's been modified a little bit. So don't worry about my pegs and why there's only two. Let's just say that the majority of tuning that you will do on a daily basis happens at the fine tuners. Now the fine tuners really are just left and right, loose and tight. They raise and lower the pitch, and they don't often have the threat of breaking a string or anything drastic like that. So you can twist them quite a few times without really ever worrying. So we have to find some kind of a reference tone. And for that, a lot of people purchase some kind of a chromatic tuner. A chromatic tuner is set to where when you play a note like A, it recognizes the pitch and tells you if it's exactly right or sharp or flat. That way, if you don't have any experience using your ear to tune an instrument, you get a little bit of help, maybe a little bit of a way to cheat and know which way it needs to go. So, if I'm using a chromatic tuner, it will actually identify any pitch. It can hear a pitch that I play on my instrument, like the open D. It can hear my voice as I'm talking, so you can actually see it responding to some of my notes that I hear with my voice. And you might even tune your vacuum cleaner or hair dryer if it's really good. You can tune any instrument and any pitch, fingers, open strings. So it's a great thing to be able to buy. Now, tuners actually happen quite a bit now. You can buy apps that will do the same thing, maybe even for free. But just make sure that you put the word chromatic tuner so that you can get one that identifies all pitches and you don't end up with a guitar tuner or a specific instrument. Okay, well, another way that we can tune is with a reference tone. The orchestra tunes to an A. Even though we all have 4 different strings, we have A in common. So, how can you tell if A is in tune? Well, of course, if I own a chromatic tuner, I can play it and I can adjust it until the needle says I'm right down the middle. But you can also tune by using a reference tone. If you have a piano at home, that might be a great thing to hear the A and then to try to match it. Many people's tuners and metronomes will generate a pitch. They'll actually play an A and you can listen to your A and you can compare them until they sound the same. There's a really great website that I like that's free, and it's www.drone, D-R-O-N-E, tone, T-O-N-E, tool, T-O-O-L.com. Drone Tone Tool looks like a piano keyboard. It actually has reference tones, and if I hit the letter A, it's only a few seconds before I actually hear the pitch begin to drone. I actually like to put this through my stereo and really listen to it loud, but at that moment, I can hear the pitch that I'm playing and decide if it matches, or if it doesn't match, I can try to decide if it's too high or too low. But general rule of thumb, when you play a pitch and you decide it doesn't match the reference tone, and you switch your bow off and you move your hand to the fine tuner and you can twist, and I usually go about 2 twists at a time. And that note will either get better or it will get much further away. So even when I'm not sure if it's sharp or flat, I just go ahead and give it 2 good twists, and I'll notice that it either blends and it really matches that reference tone, or it gets way uglier. So you can trust your ear up to a point, but in a sense, when you're starting to tune, you're not just training your muscles and your way to tune the instrument physically, you're training your ear. So when you have a site like Drone Tone Tool, and you learn to tune your open strings by matching the pitch and twisting until they really sound like they blend, it's not long before you might start to actually use a tuner to tune some of your fingered notes. And in that case, it can be very helpful because even a tape can be just slightly off. A tuner doesn't usually lie. So I like to get my tuner out, and after I've gotten my 4 open strings perfectly in tune, and of course for violin, that's E, A, D, and G. For viola and cello, we have A, D, G, and C. And of course for bass, E, A, D, and G from lowest to highest. Once I've gotten my strings in tune, I go to practice my warm-ups and scales, and I leave my tuner on for just a minute so I can visually see each note right in the center of the pitch. And it's a very difficult experiment because you'll notice the slightest movement causes the note to go out of tune, right? It's the challenge of playing a non-fretted instrument. Not only do we have to really listen to our intervals of our open strings, but we also have to tune the left hand to be so precise, not only in one position, but eventually in different shifted positions. So there's really an infinite combination of different hand positions as we move up the instrument and the intervals get smaller and smaller. A tuner is a great way to start the muscle memory from perfection. So using a chromatic tuner, using free apps for your cell phone or tablet, or even using websites like dronetonetool.com to provide a reference tone can help us start to develop not only our physical skills of tuning, but definitely the hard part, training your ear, learning to match pitch, and learning to identify whether something sounds higher, lower, or blends perfectly evenly with the reference tone. All right, well, good luck playing in tune. It's a lifetime journey. Thanks so much for tuning in today.